Well, first of all, we knew, Tommy's a good coach. They're a well-coached team. We knew that, they had no backup plan. They knew that they weren't going to be in a regional unless they could win this game. So they came out swinging. Give them credit for that. Um, Evan just didn't have his stuff. That can happen. You can't pick and choose the days you lose or the days you don't have your stuff. We went around and tried to flip the momentum. Bacon calmed it down a little bit for us. Then from there, we handed the baton off to Jevin. We were trying to get to Eric Carter. Hopefully, we wouldn't have to go to him too soon. But he was rested and ready to go. And then our hitters did just an exceptional job. Clement and Thurman, two guys that are part of our seniors, being able not to come back and panic. What I'm the proudest of is the ability to come back and compete when you know that you might be in a regional. You know, to have to come back for what we had to do to win this ball game just shows a lot about this senior leadership and about our hitters. You know, all year long, we've tried to cover up games with pitching and defense, and then today, pitching got away from us, and then our hitters just did an exceptional job of just competing and grinding out throughout the whole ball game. It's hot down in that field, and to have them do what they did is a lot of credit to them. I'm very proud of them today.
Questions for the student athletes? Nick, how much of what you did personally, especially the first double, was just you saying, I'm not going to work the second game today. Let's go ahead and take care of business now?
Yeah, you know, whenever we come up and bases are juiced like that, you know, coach wants us to slow the game down and really just, you know, not overthink the situation, not get too big on the swing. You know, he kind of fussed at me for my first at bat. You know, I got too big around the ball. He said try and stay inside of the ball more and let whatever happens happen. And he just gave me a pitch I could handle, and I was able to inside it and hit it hard.
Does that help? I mean, you never want to give up 6 runs in an inning, but does it help in that situation that happens in the first inning? You guys know that you have time to kind of chip away at it.
Yeah, you know what happened in the first inning. You know, you can partly blame that on me. You know, I'm not gonna call my best game every game. You know, some games get out of hand, and I think we did a good job of just like settling down the hitters and doing everything we could to just fight back, crawl in. We weren't gonna try and get all back in one inning, and we were just trying to chip away.
Kyle, what was going through your head?
You know, when they went up 6-0 in the first inning, and then I think we went to the pitch and change, the outfielders kind of got together, and I said, you know, at least this happened in the first inning. I mean, if that happens in the 6th or 7th inning, you know, it's a little more of a momentum killer. But being that you know, you don't have to get it all back in one inning, you can chip back for the rest of the game, and just hopefully your pitchers can keep you right there and give you a chance to win the ball game like they did today. Just kind of the whole hitting is contagious adage today. Just, I mean, it seems like everybody stepped in. I think Castle's the only player on the field who let it hit today. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hitting's definitely contagious, you know. I mean, anytime you can feed off of another guy's energy and positive energy, it boosts you up at the plate, and somebody gets a big clutch 2-out hit, 2-out double or something. I mean, you want to follow him up and keep the momentum rolling, keep it on your side, so it gives you a little more incentive.
Nick, how special has been what Carter has done?
Oh, he's been outstanding. You know, it seems like even though he was on kind of short rest, he still had his stuff was just electric today. And being it's hot out there, I think he did a great job of, you know, controlling the inning, not letting anything get away from him. If he makes a bad pitch, you know, he didn't let that phase him. If they still got hits off him, you know, but he was able to just let that go in the pass, you know, the pass is the pass, and he was just looking forward to the next pitch.
Nick, how thankful are you that you don't have to catch a whole ball game right now?
Oh, I'm so thankful. It's a good feeling. I think we're actually running out of pants, and I went through 2 pair today, so I feel like we had one more. I don't know. We might have been taking other position players' pants, so I think it's actually better for them.
Where do you guys get the motivation from? Like Coach was saying in his opening statement, you know, that's a team that's fighting for their seasons, and you guys know the next week you're still going to be playing. So where do you guys get the motivation from?
I think we get the motivation, you know, from just having to know what we're going to have to do in the future. I mean, if we was lucky enough to, you know, be in a regional, whatever we have to do, if something like that happens, you know, it's a good learning curve for us, you know, to know that we can get back in the game, that we're never out of the fight. So that's kind of what we preach, you know, just stay in the fight. You're never out of it. Take it inning by inning and pitch by pitch.
Kyle, what would it be to you? I remember even before the South Alabama series, you were talking about what it would be in terms of getting on another ring. So after doing the regular season thing now to tap on potentially a tournament title as well, what would that be?
I mean, that would be huge to me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that would be the first time in school history we won 3 consecutive tournaments. So, I mean, that's incentive right there just to do something that's never been done before and, hopefully possibly host a regional. So it'd be big.
What was going on with Gilroy early? Was it just like keeping pitches, maybe couple spots?
Yeah, I mean, his stuff wasn't too bad. I think they just came out to swing, and whenever a team comes out like that, you have to have your best stuff. And even if you're a little bit off, they'll hammer anything you throw in it. At that rate, everything's gonna fall. So I think that it wasn't so much his stuff was bad. He might have left a few pitches up that should have been down, but they just came out to play. So I mean, you got to give them some credit. They came out with no backup plan, like Coach Rope said earlier, and we just had to pick away at their lead and then hold their momentum because we knew they were fighting for their life.
Thank you.
Jeff, give me another one too, please.
People all Bacon and big guys that, like the last couple weekends, just warm up in the bullpen and never really gotten a chance to convince. And then to have their number called today and really need to hold them down to come in and do the way they did.
Well, we definitely needed him because our whole plan was to go with Guillory, and then from there, maybe Jevin, depending on the score, and then bring it to Carter because we wanted Demo out. We didn't even want him warming up or throwing, and they spun the game on us early, and Bacon's got a good. He's very good at kind of slowing things down, and even though he didn't stay in long, same thing with Jevin. We probably could have got those guys to stay in a little bit longer for us, but both of them at least gave us what they had, and bridged the gap to where we could get the score back right so that we could use Carter. That was our biggest issue, is trying to get to Carter with the lead, and we knew it was going to take some time when we got behind so big to get the lead back, but those two guys bought us some time to get the lead back to get back to Carter.
When it was 6-0, were you just thinking a chip away approach?
Yeah, I mean, what usually happens is something like that, the hitting coaches pull the hitters up, and the biggest problem you can do is try to go get all of them back right away. You got a long game. If we can, slow them down on the pitching side, keep playing good defense, ball travels in this ballpark. And we knew that they had used a lot of pitching to get to this point. So we felt good that we would score some runs. How many? We didn't know that, but we felt we could be competitive. And then the hitters did just a great job working counts, working the different arms that were coming in, and getting the clutch hits at clutch times. And then we finally, righted the ship back up. And then from there we got to Eric. And then once you can get to Eric, in a situation like that, he's been so good against everybody, but really good against them. And once we felt we righted the ship and got Eric back in, we felt so much better.
Is it Guillory going to be available out of the
He would. Could be. Gives you another arm in the pen. We even, we knew that, if we had to play another game tomorrow, and even though Wyatt would start, we could bring back Evan on short rest because he really got a bullpen, technically. So but he should be good in the bullpen tomorrow. We'll let him play catch and check with us because we never want to hurt an arm, and we'll make sure that he is good. But he is a guy that can be in the pen for us tomorrow.
I know you spoke about being careful with Thurman, make sure that you dehydrate.
Yes.
It looked a time or two like he was wobbling, but just to have the guts to go through like he has.
Yeah, and I think their catcher caught every inning too. And those catchers on days like today, boy, I mean, with all that catching gear on, it's hard to breathe. You got to give a lot of credit to our trainer, Brian. They're back behind there, you know, airing him down, keeping him in a breeze, keeping him hydrated, drinking all the stuff that they can drink, you know, to stay hydrated. And Brian does a good job. But we wouldn't have caught him game 2 if his safety was an issue. I mean, we just wouldn't have. You don't do that to somebody. And Brian checks with him every inning when he's got him back there and making sure that he's good and he's okay and he's not just saying he's okay, you know. So Thurman's he's a warrior. And again, you know, I mean, you can do so much more if your mind doesn't tell you you're weak. So many people want to tell him, you know, boy, you know, you're not hitting because your legs are gone. That's bull, man. I mean, that's bull. That's people getting in your head. I mean, that guy had a great day today as a hitter if he just doesn't get weak-minded and let people start to tell him how tired he is. He's not tired. He's fine. They catch 150 games in the big leagues, man. I mean, you can't get weak-minded, man. The Navy SEALs know that, man. The body can do 10 times more than it's capable of doing if you don't let the mind shut it down. And that's what he's got. He's not going to let his mind shut him down. He don't believe he's tired. And he can go out there and have a day like he did today. If he goes 0 for 4 today, hits a few pop-ups, everybody says his legs are tired. That's people telling him how he feels. He don't need to be told that. I mean, he's good. But for the safety part of it, though, if it gets to that point, then you know what? We would make arrangements to take precaution for his safety.
It's completely hypothetical, but if that were the case, and you had to take him out, would it be Robbins or Blake?
No. Our next catcher is actually Trosclair.
Wow.
I just gave you a secret right there, a nugget.
This is why
I'm honest. You asked me. I like being honest with you guys. But he caught in junior college, so he's actually a good catcher. Uh-oh. That's what they're drinking. No. I'm glad I'm not forced to. But that's what they're drinking back there. And it's working on them. So Brian does a great job with them. We keep a case of water, case of Powerade outside of Brian's door, and I ask him every time he goes empty, he refills it, as long as it's not people in the hotel taking it. But he told me that they've been really drinking it up because we really want them to do it 24 hours out, because I believe there's scientific proof behind it that once it starts to get you and you start to drink it now, it's not down into the cellular level that you should do it 24 hours out. So Brian does a lot of work behind the scenes with all this stuff outside of his room and making sure that they're coming get it, and making sure that they're drinking, and making sure that they try to get it down to their cellular level and try to have them ready for the day that we got in front of us. Because, man, it's hot out there. I mean, for those pitchers, for really everybody, it's really, really hot. And Brian's done a great job of keeping Thurman and keeping our whole ball club on the field. Because let me tell you something, your trainer's worth his weight in gold. You call yourself a good coach, but you take your 2 best pitchers off the field and your 3-hole hitter off the field and your catcher off the field, you start to see how good of a coach you are. Brian's done a great job of keeping our players on the field. You know, his work behind the dugout, work in between innings, work back at the hotel. He'll go back to the hotel and stay on top of people now from this point on, you know, and getting hydrated, getting fed properly. He's got a full-time job on his hands right now with this kind of heat as we move into the regionals and that.
Coach, just talk about how you guys have turned 9. I think it's now 9 straight wins. So how big that is for this time of year. Obviously putting things together at the right time.
Well, you know, again, you want to play your best baseball late. It's hard, you know, if I could control all this. You know, you start out in February, man. You play February, March, April, May, and then you try to peak, you know. And It's just an approach. The guys, our seniors, have done a great job, man. Our row of seniors, like I said before, from Zombreaker to all those guys, the role players, that their roles have changed, how much they've done, and when I watched our girls fight the other night, at Oklahoma, and was proud of them the way they fought. And after the game, they interviewed the big left-handed pitcher, the starting pitcher, who was very good, and they proposed a question to her, what's made y'all, get back to the College World Series, and she says we love each other, that we actually do it for each other. And if you listen to those type of interviews of successful teams, they enjoy being around. This team enjoys being around itself, because, man, I'm telling you something. If you don't like being around each other, I mean, the amount of hours we spend together, from showering to the back of the hotel to the dugout to traveling at home. If you don't like each other in this heat, man, this is where teams fall apart, where teams break down right here, because it's hot, man. If you got an attitude, or you don't really want to be somewhere, and you throw all this heat on you, man, you got to enjoy doing what you're doing. And I think that's the difference in them. They enjoy the grind. They enjoy being around each other. I remember that 58 win team. They didn't want the season to come to an end. Not that they wanted to win. They just didn't want to ever stop being around each other, And all players will tell you that when their careers are over, when they retire, they miss the game a little bit, but the one thing they always miss is being in the clubhouse, being on that bus, being in that hotel. That's the fun part of this. And if your team doesn't enjoy that, you're not going to make it. I mean, you're just not going to make it. And this team enjoys being around each other.
How are you going to cool down after this one?
Huh?
How are you going to cool down after this one?
Oh, I don't know. My wife came on this trip, so, we'll go get a bite to eat and stay calm before, the battle again tomorrow, and get our guys, all our parents are here, which is really nice. I told our players that there's 3 seasons in this stuff. The first one's all fun. Everybody's got brand new shoes. Everybody got brand new uniforms. Everything's all fun. It's kind of like when you get a new car, and you go to the mall, you park it so far away from the mall, you don't want nobody to hit it. And after about 3 or 4 years, man, you'll jam that thing in between 2 spots at the front of the place. You don't care if anybody hits it, because the newness wore off of it. And so season number 2 in this, all the shoes get old, the uniform gets old, and then you got to work through that part of it. If you can get through that part of it, then school ends. Then you start to get to hang around each other and really have days off, because you can go play golf, you can go fishing. I mean, a couple of our guys actually went fishing this week when they had some free time. They enjoy being around each other, and they found a way to enjoy getting to that 3rd season. That 3rd season's fun, but boy, that middle season, I tell them all the time, it's like, taking off on a plane in bad weather. It's gonna take a while to bust through those clouds, but once that pilot gets above the bad weather and gets up on top of it, everything's going to smooth out, but you got to be able to make the ride on the way up. And that's the one thing I think they did a great job of this year, when supposedly we couldn't hit, and supposedly we were ranked 6, and then we were dropping, and oh my God, and all the swirling around us, they kept on the ride, and they kept the seat belt buckled down until they bust through, and now they busted through, and hopefully they can enjoy this next season, because this is the funnest part of the season right here.